Close flight dive on it.
This is twice now the Celtics have been first to the floor. They try to
Save with Horford. Unbelievable.
Boston first to the floor. So good.
Brown fakes, fires up the three. Tatum dives on the floor. Everybody dives. Jaylen Brown with the flush. Blocked by Porzingis. He's doing it all. Tatum spinning, driving, layup. Washington drives. Blocked by White. Oh, what a block from Derek White.
All right, Wayne Spooney here, First to the Floor podcast. We had a minor false start, a little
Classic.
Yeah, just like some technical difficulties.
Summer League.
But yeah, it's Summer League. We're in Summer League too.
A couple of
right?
turnovers.
Yeah. I asked them if Jaden Springer was the GOAT. I think Jake and Greeny both said yes.
Obviously.
Like pretty
Well,
clearly.
mine was based on getting away from the Sixers.
Yeah,
first
right. That's
was
also
big.
true.
Yep.
But we had just started discussing Baylor Scheierman.
Yep.
What we thought of Baylor. Greeny, take us away, buddy.
Yeah, so for me, the surprising part was the 2 air balls, right? I mean,
Yeah,
just
not
not even
ideal.
close. Like, not even close.
They don't count if they're first.
Yeah, right.
They don't count
Okay.
if his first 2 NBA shots, if they're airball, if you were to like exclude the first 2, I'm pretty sure he didn't miss after.
Right. And I think for me, my problem was like staying up until 3 a.m. watching his, YouTube highlights
Creighton
where he
highlights.
just doesn't miss.
Yeah, I can't
So to
relate.
see that, I was like, uh-oh.
Wait a second.
Yeah, I was like, Brad, is this his first miss? But then when you watched him, I was really pleased and impressed with how he saw the floor. His
Yeah.
passing was great. I love the pace that he plays in.
Yep.
It's like a Joe Ingles, Luka hybrid. Like, I don't know.
Oh,
I have takes.
hey.
People compared him to Sam Hauser. I thought that
he's
was
not. Yeah,
wrong.
he's not Sam
I
Hauser.
view him as more of like a Joe Ingles, Luka pace. Like, I feel like his strength is going to be the slow pace dribble into the paint, finding for a lob or for a dish. That stood out. His rebounding I thought was good, but it's his first time through. I kind of want to see him play throughout, this week just to, get the nerves out and let's see. It's hard to know because we don't know what he's being asked to show and work on. But if you had to grade it, C+, B-.
Yeah, I'm right around there.
These 2 airballs hurt you a lot.
Yeah,
They
yeah.
did.
They hurt you a lot.
It hurts me.
Just imagine those 2 airballs didn't happen, and then the rest of his game,
I'd probably be more B+.
he had like what, 13 points, 5 boards. I don't even have the
4 assists, I think. 4 or 5 assists.
three pointers made.
Yeah.
And the Ingles comp is so good, man. And like the way that he comes off screens and the way that Joe Ingles comes off screens and creates space to shoot, dribble, or pass.
Yeah.
He comes off these screens and he just like goes wide and can get downhill, pull up, or create something else for someone else. I really liked the way that he came off screens because it's like that's the game now.
Now, let me ask you, do you think it's like, Joe Ingles, I feel like was an old rookie, right? He came
was
in.
like
Yeah,
26.
it was like
Yeah.
90.
Do you
Yeah.
think there's anything, when I watch Joe
It
Ingles
was like
play,
90s, is that what you said? Yeah.
but you
Throwing
get
it out
the you get the sense that like he was never sped up, right? Like
Yeah,
he was
100%.
never, he was always under control. That's what I didn't feel like he was like Baylor was sped up today,
Yes.
which again,
sure.
there's a talent difference between Summer League talent and real NBA talent. But for a rookie, that's the first thing I want to see is this speed of the game going to be too much for you? And I didn't feel like it was.
Yeah.
It's more just going to come down to strength, shot making, stuff like that. But for things that you're looking at, like, right away if someone belongs or not. And my initial take was like, all right, as he continues to develop, this could be a rotation guy down the line. But right now, as it stands, he did not feel overmatched for Summer League talent.
Totally agree. I felt like, especially when he comes off like a pick and roll on his left hand, he looks super comfortable getting to the middle of the court and like just pulling up for mid range. I think he hit 2
he had a
nice
couple of
little
nice pull-ups.
middies.
Yeah.
Which is like definitely a part of his game. Which
That's why
makes
he's
him
not
different
Hauser.
from
He's not
Yeah,
Hauser.
exactly.
Right, he's
exactly.
more of a Joe Ingles comp.
Yeah, he's-
Hauser's more catch and shoot.
Right.
I feel like you're going to get a more playmaking
Yeah.
ability from him.
Yeah, and he's gonna need that, I think, to differentiate himself. But I thought his defense was like pretty solid today for the most part. Like he's not gonna be a lockdown defender, but he was like staying in front of guys.
He got dusted though.
He got dusted a couple times.
Jaime
but that's gonna
Jaquez was cooking today.
Yeah, but Jaime's like real.
Dude,
he's like a real guy.
Jaime Jaquez was a 5th starter on a
Like-
playoff team that got dusted by the Celtics.
Yeah.
But
Can I tell you a in-person sneaky
Yes.
observation?
I will allow it. Yeah, go
Okay,
ahead.
so where I was sitting in the second half was like the second or third row, and there was a possession where he had just hit the 3 from the wing, and you could tell he was starting to feel it. He was then in the corner as he watched. I think it was either Drew Peterson or someone, maybe it was Springer, just like not move the ball and not
Yeah.
play the right way.
Yeah.
And he was in the corner, fucking cursing to himself. Like
Yeah.
he was so pissed
Hell
that they
yeah.
weren't playing the right way. And part of me was like, all right, he probably wanted the ball so he could shoot.
Yeah.
But also I looked at it that like he could recognize that they were playing poor.
The
Like
possession was going
It was
nowhere.
stalling.
Yeah.
There wasn't movement. And if he's able to read that now, I think that speaks to his college experience. But it gives me confidence that's like he's gonna fit right into Missoula ball.
Yeah,
Like,
Joe's gonna love that.
he's going to be
dude.
able to
Yeah.
identify
Yeah.
how that they need to play. And the second that he saw, like, he wasn't demonstrative. It was more just like you had to hear him and see it on his face. He was like, what is this garbage? Like, this is not how we should play.
Yeah.
And I'm sitting there like with hard eyes, like, oh my God. Like you've been
my
a Celtic
guy.
for 5 seconds.
5
and-
for your spacing.
yeah, it's like
5 for your spacing.
it's honestly that's how it was. It was like you had the guy on the opposite wing holding the ball, being slow to make decisions, and he's like, "A, I just hit a shot. B,
Yeah.
like it's a 2-possession game.
Yeah.
Like, what are we doing?" So I don't know. I wouldn't have noticed that had I not been there. But seeing it, it's like, all right, this guy knows how to play.
You have reminded me, we haven't really set the scene too. We firstly got to fucking go to the games today, and it was awesome. It was in the Cox Pavilion, which is the smallest.
It's like a high school,
school gym.
court.
It's tiny, bro. Like 20 rows. Like it's like that's it.
Yep.
So we were like what 10? Like we were so close to the court. If you
Yeah.
walked down
Right
to,
behind
like,
the benches at center court.
we
too.
were
It
like
was
right
awesome.
there.
Okay.
I yelled a lot about Walshy, and they ignored me a lot. But like to be right there, and then across from us, we had you know the better layout, but
Yeah.
we could see Hauser, Brad, Zarin,
Yep.
and then you. Who were the people on the outside?
Austin.
Of the,
So
Yeah.
you had so I was right behind them.
Yeah, you were right there.
So starting at like the broadcast table, you had Austin Ainge's, I assume it's his son, Austin Ainge. Then next to him was like a normal person, I think, like a
Normal
non-Celtics
rich
famous person.
Yeah.
the luckiest person in the entire world.
And then you had Brad, you had Zarin, you had Allison Feaster, who that's like the trio. That's the brain trust. They are who we owe our entire lives and existence to. And then next to him was some famous person. I'm not sure who. Could have been a wrestler. We thought.
She had the double like belts.
I'm gonna
for-
age
yeah.
myself. That could be a musician. I don't
Yeah,
know.
who knows?
And then
Yeah.
next to her was Maria Menounos and her husband.
And
He's a
Sam Hauser
Boston
was in there as
legend.
well.
Sam Hauser was next to Brad. Sorry.
Yeah, dude.
Um,
Watching like Hauser and Brad just like hang out for
Yeah.
2 hours and just like chop like that was almost as fun as watching the
Dude.
game. Was just like watching
Well,
Hauser and Brad just hang because you were like, so what are we thinking? Are we thinking?
Yeah, I was like, is that 8 million? Is it 10? But I know this is
44. What's going on?
this
Sam?
is a lot of your guys' first time here. Part of the reason why I love coming to Summer League is just the people watching.
Yeah, dude,
Yeah,
it's
dude.
It's
incredible.
like, especially when you're in Cox Pavilion and you're so close, you understand that these are 6'8", 6'9" giants. But when you see them in real life, you're like, how are we even the same species?
yeah,
But,
we're
like,
not.
You know,
really.
it's just like, but even just being that close to Brad, it's like you can just feel his aura. It's just like,
yeah.
I wanted to. I couldn't quite get my voice to carry across, but all I wanted to do was like, hey, Brad. You're doing such a good job.
Yeah, like, I'm so
You're
proud of
doing-
you.
I love
I'm
you.
so proud of
I'm so
you.
proud of your job. Like, man, you're doing the best job. But like, man, like last night we saw Jared Allen.
Yeah.
We saw Avery Bradley. But like today, Luke Travers, Australian dude.
Yeah,
you
just
guys-
like a legend of basketball.
Dude,
yeah,
I was actually surprised he didn't make the Boomers squad, but like he's a two-way guy. But like, I walked past him like, "Yo, Luke!"
Yeah.
and it's just like, "Can I get up there, dude? Can I hit that thing?"
Yeah. And
Me
part
and
of you
Ben-
feels bad because it's like they probably get bothered so much.
Exactly.
But also, like, everyone is so nice and so open, and it's just everyone's having a good time because Vegas in Summer League is
So
the best.
my ego version of that is like he's really happy that someone actually
I was
recognizes.
gonna
Okay.
say,
Because no one's recognizing
people are
Luke
not
Travers.
bothering
true.
Luke
Yeah,
Travers.
true.
Yeah,
That's true.
Yeah. So I
A
think
little different for, like, when
the-
Kevin Durant shows up.
yeah,
It's a little
yeah,
different. Yeah.
I
Do you want a question from the chat very quickly?
yeah,
Hell
yeah,
yeah.
please.
Eric Weiss in the chat wants to know from you, Jade, specifically.
Oh, shit.
What did you yell at the coaches today? We heard a little bit about you yelling
Oh fuck.
sweet praises at Brad
No,
Stevens.
I yelled a lot about heat culture being fraudulent.
Well, it is.
Yeah, which I mean,
It is.
It's,
Fair.
I mean, they haven't won a title in like 10 years now.
Well, I mean, not to keep to derail, but
11, but who's counting?
Caleb Martin openly said he had to leave heat culture to join a winning culture, and that winning culture was the Philadelphia 76ers. Heat culture can't be more in the gutter than a statement. Than a statement like
Kill
that, so,
shot.
yeah.
Right there,
I did yell. You guys,
360 no scope.
yeah.
you guys are devil magic merchants because even today
They
it's
shot
something
like
like
60%.
they shot like 60 plus
I know.
% from 3-point range, which is like no one does.
No one does
it's not
that.
a thing, dude.
I know.
And even on like,
Rashawn Johnson is
Yeah.
making like pull-up
like
threes
yeah,
in our
2K
face.
regen guys.
Although I have to say, and I only have two gripes with Danny Ainge in my life.
Okay, go on.
Well, this may not even been an Ainge pick. It may have been a Brad pick. The first one was that he didn't take Lou Dort in the second round. I
Fair.
told him about that in December after watching him at my alma mater. Like, fucking listen to me. The second one, and he killed us today,
Yeah.
was Josh Christopher.
Yeah, Josh Christopher was
yeah,
awesome.
Another
dude.
former Sun Devil who was there in the second round.
He had a hammer.
I don't know. I
Yeah.
can't remember what draft it was off the top of my head, but I know the Celtics didn't pick him. He went to the Rockets. Anytime, I don't know anything about anything, but I know when I'm watching my Sun Devils, who have like 2 NBA players a year,
Yeah.
he was so clearly a two-way NBA player. And he would have been perfect on this roster. So to see him, I mean, he was hitting threes.
He was killing
He was
us.
hitting mid-range.
He could.
Banged a dunk down.
Oh,
That
dude.
is the type of heat voodoo zombie
Yeah.
Yeah.
that is going to make a
I'm
play
saying,
in a playoff
they just hit
series.
the regen button.
Yeah.
The camera can see this thing right here. You just hit the Miami Heat.
Don't actually touch a button,
un-
don't you?
yeah, the undrafted button.
That's it. It's going to be
New
Josh
Caleb Martin just
Christopher.
dropped.
I'm telling you, he was a high recruit out of California that came to ASU, coming from the James Harden pipeline. I was like, this is amazing. He's I think they may have even taken like. It could have been either Carson or Tremont Waters draft. Could have been that year.
Yeah. Oh, that's a bad one. Because
I
that
know.
was Taco, too.
Yeah,
That was
I'm
a
telling
bad
you,
one.
they had all these opportunities to take him. I would have hoped they would have listened to me after the Lou Dort fiasco, who was the perfect Marcus Smart replacement.
Yeah.
No offense, but was just a monster.
Yeah.
So to see him kill us today, that hurt me because I knew years ago watching him on like a 10-win ASU.
Yeah.
Like they
I've
never
been there,
win.
brother.
So it's like you can obviously tell when someone's good, and I
Wait,
just
so what's the other thing that you hold against? Danny
well, that
Ainge?
was it. I
Okay.
couldn't.
Yeah.
It was Josh Christopher and it was Lou Dort.
And Lou Dort.
And they're only ASU. They're only ASU
That's
related.
pretty good too.
Yeah, I mean, it worked out, and I mean, this is why you just have to read the blogs, Brad, and you'll freaking know
If
about
Deuce
it.
McBride was there when we drafted Jordan Walsh and we didn't take him, I would have never forgiven
There you go,
Brad
see?
Stevens ever.
We all
Actually,
have
that was
him.
the draft before anyway, so I don't even think
You would
we
never
had to
forgive
pay.
him.
Yeah. No,
I-
well, obviously.
no,
You might consider
yeah.
you might consider
Banner
forgiving
18,
him now
he
that
could, like, kill my
he made
mom,
the
and I'd be like,
Porzingis
hey,
trade after the
yeah.
draft and then the Drew Holiday trade
Brad
after
could
the draft.
murder like my whole
Yeah,
family
right.
right now and be like, "Hey, Banner 18, now.
Guys,
like
but-
it's worth it." Yeah.
Listen, ain't
Look,
that the
so
truth?
before we came on, I think we were talking about like I don't know, favorite moments, but like how does the 08 title for you guys? Because you guys are pretty old. So you guys kinda,
we
you guys,
are
fair.
old.
We're
You guys,
very
you guys
old.
We
remember?
are.
You guys
I
remember?
feel like I'm like the oldest person in this room. I know I,
I was
made
a
that joke,
junior
but I'm
in
like
college
legit.
then too at
All right, hold on.
UMass,
How old
buddy.
was I?
Yeah, you guys were of age.
I think I
during
might
the
have been a
08
junior,
title.
senior too. Yeah,
Like
yeah.
the 08 title, you guys
Yeah.
were like what? How old were you during the 08 title? 08 title.
21, 22.
Oh,
I
that's fine.
turned
21.
21 in March,
Yeah.
So you-
like right
Me
before the
too.
playoffs
March
started.
25th, right?
Yeah, I'm
But there's, like-
24th, bro. Whoa.
Whoa.
Whoa. Yeah,
Fuck,
we got the
who
March
cares?
boys.
No one cares about your birthday.
I care. I care actually.
Like
Like fulfillment-wise?
but there's like I was like there's a big difference between
Yeah.
for me like I loved 08, but when you're like in the trenches, dude,
Yeah.
this one I don't know. Go ahead.
So there was two main differences for me. In that year, like you knew it was sort of like a manufactured title, right?
100%. We bought it.
We bought it, right? So it's like we came off one of the worst years of my entire life the year before, right? And then they make this trade, and it's so polarizing because these are names that I never had envisioned would ever become Celtics.
Yeah.
But it was almost like now that you purchase this team, you now have to win.
You better win.
Right?
Yeah.
And the window, we all knew at that time the window was much shorter. This time, it's like we grew up with this core. We went through, like, there was no playoff pain in that 08 title because they won it the very first year.
No pain.
No
at
pain.
all.
It was instant. They immediately won 66 games.
So
they
much-
immediately won the title. There was no playoff scar. Those obviously came later, but you had won the title already. This group, we have all been through hell.
Yeah.
You know,
Yeah.
like we have been dragged to the depths of hell with pain that most fan bases will never even dream of experiencing.
That's why, like, I got so mad at Nuggets fans last year because they went from not really being a contender to just like winning.
Yeah, they're
the
like
title.
second round out guys.
They never got anywhere close, and all of a sudden they went 16-4. I'm like, you guys don't fucking understand what it feels like
How
to
horrible
lose
this is.
Game
Yeah.
7 or Game 6 in the final in the home for after going through multiple Game 7 series. Dude,
Going up 2-1, and it's like, well, they haven't lost 3 games in a row all year. Like, they're going to be fine.
Going through a 7-game series takes, I don't know, a minimum of like 18 months off your life.
Oh, easily.
And we lost like a decade off our life.
And, but you got to remember, right? Like, no matter what happened in that 08 team, Pierce was still a first ballot Hall of Famer.
Yes.
KG was still a first ballot Hall of Famer. Ray was still, it's like their legacies were already stamped.
Yeah.
This was a legacy-defining championship. So when you are with the guy,
all of them,
right? When you've gone through the losses that they've experienced, we were dealing with questions of, will these guys ever get it done?
Tatum,
Are they winning players?
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So it's like it was the validation for those of us who have believed since over these last 8 years, and I feel like you could sense that with everyone on the roster of it was a collective exhale because now everybody is stamped forever.
Well, and a part of it too is just like when the Celtics made those trades, especially once they got KG, it was like the whole NBA world was like, oh, well, they're going to win the title, right? Like it was just like, oh, this team's incredible. Where with this version of the Celtics, we've been like fighting the war
so many doubters
for so long, believing in these guys.
No one admits it now.
Yeah.
But you knew that was going to happen.
And all year we said it was going to happen.
And and I can understand being skeptical at the beginning of the year, given the trades that they made and it was new and all that.
Yeah,
but then you get to like Thanksgiving and they've lost like 5 times, and it's even still people didn't want to accept it.
64 and whatever, and they were like, no.
Right.
18.
And then
they
it was
lost 18 fucking games in the regular season.
And then it was, but then you could say, okay, great, regular season, we still have your playoff doubts. Okay, fine.
Yeah.
Right. Anytime this team loses a game, it's like
Armageddon.
It's Armageddon.
Oh, yeah.
Bro, the media cycle of the first 2 rounds of the playoffs, where it was like they won game 1, everyone's like, easy path, and they lose game 2, and everyone's like, frauds,
right?
And then no one talks about the Celtics for the next week because like they just
they're gonna waltz to the title now, they're gonna waltz to the finals, and then everybody picks the Mavs, and
bullshit,
it's like.
But let me ask you guys this, right? I think the biggest question and the biggest is this easy path narrative, right?
Yeah.
I think if you were to be objective, you would say yes, things would technically be harder if you had Donovan Mitchell the whole time, if you had Tyrese Halliburton the whole time, if Jimmy Butler played, fine. But if you go and you look at each game individually, those are not easy cupcake. Being down 18 points on the road in the Eastern Conference Finals is not easy. Having to need Jaylen Brown to hit a prayer corner 3 in game 1 is not easy. Winning, being 7-0 on the road is not easy. So it's like, I never really understood how if you went to someone and you say, okay, do you think the Celtics will go undefeated in the playoffs? They would say no. Okay, so then when they lose...
It doesn't matter who they're playing. You're not going undefeated.
Right. So it's like when they lose, they're frauds, like you said. But when they win, they have an easy path. But when you're looking at how they need to win, teams don't come back on the road down 18 points frequently.
Like,
that is not an
no,
easy thing
very
that happens.
rare. Yeah, so I have a very hot take about the Indy series. Kind of think Indy was tougher once
Then the
Halliburton
Mavs?
went down.
Oh, when Halliburton went down. Ooh.
Okay, so like obviously game 1 was crazy, like not ideal, but like we went at Halliburton nonstop in game 2, and that's how we completely opened them up and dominated. And then he's gone, and Andrew fucking Nembhard balled out of control, dude. Like,
I mean,
he was better than Halliburton.
He was probably the best guard they faced in all 4 rounds.
Well, I don't know. Mitchell was pretty fire.
Okay, before he got hurt. That's true. That's
But we
true.
were
That's
up
true.
2-1 with Mitchell.
That's
Once
true.
when he went down, we were up 2-1.
We
were up 2-0 when
like
Halliburton went
he had
down.
a supernova game, Mitchell, in
Yeah,
two.
game
Game two.
3.
In
No, it was
game
game
3.
Well, both game
Well,
2
game two
and
and game
3.
three.
Yeah.
Game
Because
three,
game 3 was 7-9 in the first
7 for 10.
half.
7 for 10.
7 for 10.
And
Okay.
we were
Alright.
on the playback.
Fact
being
check that.
I haven't fact checking. And I'm trying to make it's a personal thing I'm working on to believe these guys when they know stuff. But yeah, man, we were sitting there in the playback being like, don't overreact. But man, 16-3 against the Pistons, Hawks, and Bulls, our in-season tournament group. 16-3 extrapolated for an entire season is still really fucking hard to achieve.
Yeah.
And so
Yeah.
to do 16-3 against any NBA team is impossible.
Especially at this stake where it's
Impossible.
like there's the scouting, everyone has more
Impossible.
time to
It's
get
so
you out of what you
hard.
like to do. But I don't know. It just really bothers me because it's like, you know,
fucking
you
should
can't
bother you.
control who gets hurt, A, and B, it's not like, yes, some of the games they won, they were up 1,000,000 points.
We're also up 2-1 against the Cavs with Mitchell, and we're also
Right,
up 2-0
exactly. That's-
against the
yes.
Pacers with Halliburton.
Yeah.
So
I
it's
would
like,
just
okay,
look at it like
great. They
I would
go
just
to
look at
5
it
or
like
6.
it was just a continuation of the level of play. It's not like they didn't blow teams out all year and then they got to this easy playoff
Yeah,
run.
right, exactly.
If you're the best team by a wide margin and you win your conference by 14 games and you're best record in the league by 7 games, chances are you're going to be better than everybody else you play.
Right.
Like
Yeah,
that's
the
not
Celtics had an easy path because they don't have to play the Celtics.
Right.
You know?
It's true.
Every metric pointed to us being dominant and ended up being that way. Are we straying? Should we be talking about the Summer League team?
I feel like we should probably talk a little Summer League, right?
Title of the podcast.
I was gonna say that, but like
I feel like we got to talk about JD Davis.
saying,
Okay.
well,
He,
but
he
like,
played pretty well.
I'm just kind of saying like if you want like an inside look on what it's like to be here, it's
This is it.
basically
It's
what
just
it's been
like
like
we've
for
been
the last
talking
like 5
like-
hours.
Yeah.
This conversation
Always,
is like
yeah.
the last
And
9
to be
hours.
fair, this is the first time I've seen y'all
Yeah,
since we
yeah,
won
yeah,
last
yeah.
week.
And all I
But-
did today was just talk shit about the Celtics.
Yeah.
all day.
yeah,
It was
all day.
awesome.
Yeah.
But in terms of tonight, so I think we all were relatively pleased with Baylor.
Baylor was great.
Who was your like? Do we smash the panic button?
Oh no.
What's your classic Summer League
no.
overreaction?
I think for me it might be Queta.
Okay.
Oh, he was okay though.
That's a good answer because that actually matters.
Yeah,
Yeah.
because
Mine is more an emotional reaction because like I'm like
it's Walshy.
our whole brand became
Yeah, we
Jordan
are the
Walsh.
Walshy guys.
And
Flew here for what?
yeah, we literally flew here with Jordan Walsh and he was a disaster today.
Yeah.
Like he was he as bad as Bronny? I'm not sure about that, but he was rough.
So what concerned you about Queta?
I don't know. I just felt like defensively, Miami got whatever the fuck they wanted, and I feel like if you're a really impactful rim defender, like you can kind of dominate inside against Summer League competition. He really didn't do that, but I thought offensively he was mostly fine.
No, dude.
And I'm
Come
kind
on.
of overreacting
He
a
missed
little
every
bit.
fucking hook shot he took.
Yeah, but no.
But
did
that's
he
his
though?
thing. He
Yeah.
misses on purpose,
and then
so
he
can get the
rebounds.
rebound.
so you're
gets the
saying he's
bucket.
just of the Portuguese Neemias Queta?
Yeah, he's Cristiano
That's
Ronaldo.
tough. That's tough.
You know, he just like
Like
pads
well, like
the stats.
young Enes Kanter.
Yeah.
Okay, I was gonna say I don't know if I want
That's
even
Enes
Celtics
freedom
Kanter,
to
yeah.
you, sir. You're in America, my friend. So careful.
So I can see that. I think with Queta, I think what surprised me was kind of like you said, just they were getting to the rim at ease.
So easy.
It felt like he wasn't that overpowering.
I thought he was gonna be like Sean Kemp shit,
Right.
Like
And
Dwight
he's
Howard.
going up against that rookie center
Yeah.
from Miami. Like they
Khalil
didn't.
Ware, yeah.
It's not like
Yeah.
they had like a serviceable or like big name big
Yeah,
man. in
he's a
there.
19-year-old dude. You should be able to like really take advantage
Just
of.
beast
him.
mode him.
I have to go with Jordan Walsh, man. I'm sorry.
Yeah, it's
I
true. It's Walshy.
But I'm
It's
also
Walshy.
with you. I'm such a believer in him and his skill set And, coming off of how he played in Maine, it's like he matters for the opposite way, where it's like they don't have an O'Shea Brissett replacement. Even if it's only for that 7 or 10 minutes a game, I think we were all hoping that would be Jordan Walsh. The Jordan Walsh we saw today did not look like an NBA-ready player.
Not at all.
But that's, again, assuming we don't know. The coaching staff may have said, hey, only do X, only do Y.
Well, that's the cope.
That is the cope.
That's the cope.
I'm
That's
fully
the cope.
bought into
That's the
that
cope.
cope.
It's
like,
I'm
oh,
fully bought in.
You have a 8 3-point attempt quota.
Yeah.
Yeah, you better take
I mean, he
him,
was
boy.
what? I think we looked it up. 1 of 8, 0 of 6. Like,
It's not good, Bob.
I expected him to almost kind of be like Jaime Jaquez, get into the paint, get into the mid-range, get to the rim.
I've had multiple people that they set their expectations as Neesmith's second summer league,
Okay.
When he was good.
and I felt
Neesmith
like
was
I
great.
felt like that was unfair personally because like Neesmith was a 14th overall pick and
Just
played-
a better
played-
prospect,
and also
better
played
player.
real minutes.
One of the
Okay.
GOATs.
I just don't think G League minutes like are real, dude.
No, they
I just- I
kind
don't
of
know.
are, but
Are they?
no, not really.
Are they real, dude?
Ben's just laughing at me
'Cause
giving
I see
Neesmith love, so it's making me laugh.
I see shit, all these fucking stats about guys doing all kinds of crazy shit.
In the G League.
And
Yeah.
so it's like,
I mean, it's just like any other minor league system. Obviously, a huge gap of real
Yeah.
NBA talent.
it's really hard.
But
It
I'm
is
interested.
really
I'm
hard.
interested to see the rest of his week because it would not surprise me
Yeah,
if he
totally,
bounced
for
back.
sure.
But if we're talking first impression, not anywhere near the level that I
It made me
was
really
hoping.
sad.
Maybe, yeah, same.
Really
same.
sad, dude.
I want to ask you guys about Anton Watson because I
Cook.
felt like he was
Big fan.
just fine, like very solid.
Great.
Yeah.
I think one of the big things for me with Summer League is I want guys not to make mistakes.
Okay.
Because like you make shots, you don't make shots. It's the type of shots you take. And it's like if you're turning it over, if you're blowing assignments, I feel like he was just on point everywhere with like what he was supposed to do mostly. He didn't like have a crazy scoring game. He didn't have a crazy
He
rebounding
had that nice
game.
block though.
He did
Oh,
a
that
really
was-
nice
That block
block.
was
really
that block
nice.
I
was
just thought
big.
he was like rock solid for
Yeah.
the most point, which is kind of what his like
I was
player
just saying,
archetype
that's
is.
what I've loved about Summer League so far has been when there's like a scouting report, whether it's good or bad, comes to fruition with like Reed Shepherd was like,
Immediately,
oh,
yeah.
yep, that's,
Yep, that-
He's gonna
all of it
cross
was
everybody
that.
up and
and
bury
if it's
threes.
bad,
yeah.
it's like, oh, yep, that's why he was undrafted.
yeah.
I mean, to me, he looked like he's going to be a solid Maine Celtic. this
Yeah.
season.
Yeah, he's gonna be a great main Celtic.
like-
for sure, yeah.
Whereas, Walsh or Queta, their summer league minutes mean more to me because they're potential rotation guys. Whether it's
Right.
only for 10 minutes. For Watson, I feel like he's the guy. He's the project, right? He's the one that spends the majority of his time in Maine. I don't even think he'll be on the regular 15-man roster during the year.
Probably not. Yeah.
But he won me over when the first thing he said is, "I just want to be Al Horford."
Yeah, dude.
Yeah.
I mean,
And I'm like, I want to be Al Horford, so I can
Don't
understand.
we all?
Yeah.
Yeah.
So it's like, if your goal is to just be Al Horford, you're already like, I'm already gonna
You're my
make
guy, yeah,
excuses for you. But I was impressed with it wasn't because once you get to summer league, it's like you can tell right away on both ends of the spectrum. You can tell when a guy is way too good for summer league.
Yeah.
You can tell when a guy is
not gonna be an NBA
It's
player.
not going to be an NBA player, and you can tell when the speed he
Yeah.
belongs, but he
Yeah.
still needs seasoning.
Some time, yeah.
So for me, I looked at him. I'm like, okay, at the very least, he looks like a guy that belongs and needs seasoning, as opposed to this is this is a waste of a pick. He can't even hang on this level. That's reassuring, but he looks like a Maine Celtic as
Yeah.
opposed to a big boy Celtic.
it was a sick block.
Oh,
It was
right
a
on
really
the
sick
Yeah.
block.
To be, if I remember correctly,
sick
they
block.
blew the fast break coming off that block.
Probably.
That
Yeah.
was I think the first of the
That was
two
the Jaden
fast
Springer
breaks.
didn't-
Yeah, didn't pass it to
Those
Walsh.
bother the shit out of me.
Yeah.
Man.
It
That's
was
just
a really tough sequence.
but all at the same time, we're at the time of year where everyone just plays selfish basketball.
Yeah.
Like if Joe had seen that, I just know he was somewhere in his house watching that fast break, raging.
Yeah,
because
yeah.
you have a 2-on-1 fast break, give up the ball and you'll get it back. And it's
Right.
like those are the type of things where.
Give it up early, dude.
You know what I mean?
Give
Like
it up
that's
early.
Those are, and then they have the same thing with Walsh on his fast break later. A couple possessions later
Yeah.
with the lob to Neemias. It's like those are the things that bother me because that's day one stuff that even at this level, give it up to get it back. And
Always,
the second you saw, I think it was a 2-possession game. The second you saw Springer not give up the ball, you knew the basketball gods were going to come back. And,
100%.
And make them pay for it.
Hey,
so.
before we move on, I'm going to attempt to read a Game Time ad here.
Okay, go for it.
First to the Floor is brought to you by Game Time. Game Time is an authorized ticket marketplace of Major League Baseball, which makes getting tickets faster and easier. Prices on the Game Time app actually go down the closer it gets to the first pitch. With killer last-minute deals, all-in prices, views from your seat, and the lowest price guaranteed, Game Time takes the guesswork out of buying MLB tickets. We have tickets in our possession that got through Game Time for the Celtics Summer League game this Saturday, which was today, July 13th. But you can take advantage of all the great Game Time features such as last-minute tickets, flash deals, and zone deals. Easy to find and buy MLB tickets or for every kind of event in your area. Plus, lowest price guaranteed, event cancellation protection, job loss protection, and more. Take the guesswork out of buying MLB tickets with Game Time. Download the Game Time app, create an account, and use code CLNS for $20 off your first purchase. Terms apply. Again, create an account, redeem code CLNS for $20 off. Download Game Time today. Last minute tickets, lowest price, guaranteed. I live near Pittsburgh. I'm going to use Game Time to go see Paul Skeens, who is might be one of the best pitchers of all time on the Pittsburgh Pirates, which is a massive waste of his talent, but that's what's going to happen. So anyway, gentlemen, where were we? Thank you. Appreciate it. Kind of. I had a quick skip there where like there was something highlighted and I was like, shit, do I need to read that? And then I realized I do. So we're good.
Right on.
Yeah.
So wait, what do we do with Jaden Springer? Because he
Max him. Max contract.
I mean, we've
Super max after he makes all NBA second team.
We've discussed that trading him for a Duop Wraith is like our number one choice.
That is the Aussies' number one choice. I don't
Trade him for who?
Duop
Wraith.
Wraith, who's he's Portland's like fifth center.
Oh, okay. Fifth center, dude.
Fourth. I'm sorry, fourth.
He's so much better than Queta, dude. It's unbelievable.
He makes threes. I'll give him that.
Yeah.
And he's big.
Well, you just make Jaden Springer makes. When we did the pressure rankings, like who's under the most pressure coming into Summer League, and I had Springer number one.
Okay.
He makes
same.
the $4 million.
Yep.
As opposed to like the other guys, so you're like it's expendable.
Is it his fourth year?
I think
It might be his fourth or fifth somewhere.
He's plus like not just the salary being like you're very very obviously movable.
Yeah, I mean, I think you just be honest. You say, hey, we traded for you because you have a movable salary.
Yeah.
If someone gets hurt, that's your opportunity. But I look at him the same way I looked at like Svi or anything like that. Any of these end of bench guys, it's like whatever they give you right now is a bonus.
Right.
You know, and maybe this year we'll see rotation shift a little bit because now that they've won, they can be like, all right, we can, maybe spend more development, spend more of the season developing guys. But I think his defense is playable, right?
Dude,
like he's got rotation level on ball defense.
But the
in my opinion.
offense is so unplayable.
But he can't.
But this is what's so hard about Summer League is that he was so good today.
Right, but you have to. That's the.
Hitting
in
threes,
your brain,
he was running pick and roll.
I know.
He would dump off passes.
Yeah, he's getting by Josh Christopher.
He
Who's
looks
heard
like-
of that
he
bug?
well, he's a ball. He's got game.
I mean, dude, he looked like John Morant light out there today.
I know, but here's the thing with Summer League: when good stuff like that happens,
That's
It
usually
matters.
bad.
you use it for like your own derangement and delusion.
Yeah.
But then when you make that switch to talk about like the actual season, he's not going to be running pick and roll effectively in any. I don't even if you could be playing the Wizards.
You don't think him and Killian
No,
Tilly
I do not think Killian Tilly has
a
a future. No. His way on the court is defense, and you have to just surround him with shooting. I think it's more likely because if there's, let's say, Queta doesn't live up to it and Luke gets hurt, you look on the market for a $4 million center, and that's how you bring in that play.
I think we need a guard. I'm on the guard train. If
No,
Pritchard,
we don't need guards or wings.
if Pritchard gets
don't.
hurt, what do we got? It's Jaden Springer.
His name Derek White,
JD.
Drew Holiday.
This is JD's moment.
yeah,
It's
I guess
JD's moment.
Look, I
No,
am
no,
the
no.
world's biggest JD guy. Like, me and his mom are DMing like, hey, we just love our boy, so much, but not really.
You
That was a
you sound like
joke.
Ime Udoka right now.
Yeah, I went to dinner with JD's mom, and I was like, I get it.
like,
Yeah,
okay, yeah,
and I had
yeah.
a really crooked smile.
Yeah.
But no, I just JD is not ready for it, man, and he probably never will be.
Yeah.
But he looked good today, I think, offensively.
I think his three has come around.
long way. His shooting's
And I think
come a long
that's.
way.
I mean, you got to be able to shoot threes and space the floors on this team, and I just think at some point you need one way or another,
Yeah,
right? Like
for sure.
he is, for lack of a better term, he is your developmental project. He's
Yeah.
been in the system the longest. Like, you need to see if it's even worth what you've been putting into
Right,
it.
right.
And if that's your third or fourth point guard, if someone were to get hurt, let him sink or swim. He'll probably sink given what we have seen, but there are flashes. And in this league, it's like it's an opportunity thing. It's like he could be good if he's just allowed to play. Like, we all think Carson Edwards stinks because he just never was allowed to play.
That's why. That's the only reason.
That was the only reason.
Yeah.
You let him get a rhythm, his whole life could have been different.
Yeah, he could have been a little short.
He
Klay
could have
Thompson.
been. He could have been Peyton Pritchard before Peyton Pritchard. You just never know.
That's the guy that Summer League really changed for me, where he was awesome.
Pritchard.
No. Pritchard's good. Carson Edwards.
Oh yeah, where it's like, oh, this is fake life.
Like coming off the Purdue March Madness, he was unreal, 40 points, and then he was the same pretty much in Summer League.
Yeah.
And so I was like, oh well, he's just now going to be like short Klay Thompson.
Yeah. For me, it was it was James
Thunder
Young.
thighs.
For me, it was James Young. The problem was
man.
he still didn't even have good Summer League performances. And I still believed because I was just like, this is the wing that I need in my life. And
I need you to be good.
I needed it.
I need you to be good.
And he just did not deliver for me.
James Young
unfortunately.
had the slowest lateral movement
I know.
I've ever seen from like a dude who is supposedly athletic.
But
Like,
he's
it
a
was-
lefty, and I'm such a sucker for
Yeah,
lefties.
the
Like,
yeah, that's why
Baylor,
I like
it looks
Baylor.
good, yeah.
Well, that's why I feel
every
like
shot
God-
comes off. It looks great.
I know. I feel like God owed me a lefty that could be drafted by this team that actually could play. It's like you owed me a mulligan because I went to war for James Young and made an idiot of myself on the internet for millions and millions of people, and I have nothing to show for it. Baylor Scheierman is going to be my redemption arc
right,
of the
yeah,
lefty.
yeah,
But I just feel like every team needs a lefty. I don't know why. I just feel like if you have a lefty shooter, you have it's like getting like a skill set boost. Like it's just you need it.
Yeah, you get the badge.
Yeah, you get the
You get the
badge.
spot
That's what I was
shooting
looking for.
badge.
Yeah, you need the badge.
Did you guys see the clip of KG getting hyped about the Mets receiver?
Yeah, Edwin Diaz.
Not the receiver, the closer.
Yeah, Edwin Diaz. Yeah,
same-
where you
same
got the
exact
trumpet.
reason.
Yeah,
dude.
nailed it.
Left-handed.
Yeah.
Oh, okay. Well, I'm a believer.
I actually don't even know. I just
I
realized
don't-
as
is
soon
he
as I was
not
singing, I'm
left-handed?
like, I don't know if he's left-handed.
Oh, okay. You
But-
could have told me.
But
That was a great clip,
But
Jay.
KG,
Thanks for bringing
man.
that up.
KG, man, someone drank this fireball, and it's impacted someone.
Yeah.
So let me
won't
ask you, what did people said Scheierman's the Sam Hauser replacement. I don't think any of us agree with that.
Oh,
What
I think
about-
Jake
Well,
might. I think Jake might.
Well,
But what
I-
about
I-
Drew?
what
What
is-
about
what is
Drew
that?
Peter? What about Drew Peterson?
That's a great.
He was solid.
He was really good
fine.
today.
He was fine.
You thought so?
Oh,
I
I
thought
didn't
he
love
was
him.
like.
I didn't love his minutes.
I thought he did it. He was like a do everything guy.
Okay.
He was like getting on the boards. I thought he protected the rim a couple of times.
Is it weird that his long neck creeps me out?
So that might be part of the problem.
He's got
Very
a super long neck.
Very
And I feel
bizarre.
like-
He's Oppo Rob
like, who am I-
Williams, who
like-
has the shortest neck ever.
Yeah, and who am I to say anything about how anybody looks? But I just look at him, I'm like, you're a 2K generated player.
Well, and like Drew Peterson,
I-
right? Like he's 6'9", but it's a fake 6'9" because
'Cause,
his
like,
shoulders are
yeah.
6'7"
he's
guy
big,
shoulders.
dude. He's big.
That's his neck
That
faking
surprised
you
me.
out, Jay.
That surprised me. He's also not as skinny as I thought he
Yeah.
would be
No,
in
he-
real life.
Yeah.
No, I actually really like
he's got some stuff to his game. Like he had
yeah.
like multiple like 7 assist games
like him.
for Maine. I think they have a very generous scorekeeper, but he's got like more passing
liked him.
and off the dribble chops than like Hauser does. But the 3 just didn't go in today at
Can
all
I-
for him.
Can I tell you who I was sad we
No
didn't
one's
see?
threes went in.
Jalen House.
Jalen House, all right, love it. Yeah, Eddie's son.
Eddie's
He
son.
didn't play. right?
I thought we
Mexico
lived in a
State.
world where NBA
Yeah.
nepretism was
Yeah.
like gets you on the court.
We
None-
watched
none of the
Bronny
Boston
miss
Celtics.
1,000
Again,
shots.
again.
None of
What's
the Boston
difference?
Celtics.
Yeah.
We draw the line at the first Summer League game.
Yeah,
Yeah.
well, I mean,
They're all
again, I'm
playing.
partial. He is also a fellow former Sun Devil before he went to
Okay.
New Mexico.
Yeah.
You know, following after his dad, who's the all-time leading scoring Sun Devil.
Yeah,
Shout out Eddie
fair
House. But I don't know, man. On a game that I felt like they needed some shooting and
He's
some
like,
spark
what,
plugs,
6'4"?
I don't know if he's that big, but he's
He's like
just
6'2".
he's a bucket getter, and I
Yeah,
just
yeah.
feel like his name is Jalen.
Yeah,
that tends
fair.
to work out.
Good start.
You
yeah.
know, so I feel like he could be the next Jay. Just I don't know. I want to see him play because he can score. He's kind of skinny, kind of small for his position, but
Yeah.
I don't know if he's anything like his dad. He can play.
Yeah, well, and he's bigger than his dad, though. I mean, Eddie was legitimately. I mean,
Yeah.
he was like a less than 6 foot.
But I don't know. I would have thought he could have gotten some because there were some other guys that like I didn't know, didn't recognize. It's like, how is he playing? At least this guy had some, moments for New Mexico.
Yeah, he has
Yeah.
some juice and
So I wanna-
basketball for
That was
sure.
one of the clips of the year. Was Eddie House celebrating,
Going nuts,
for his son.
Because he feels like I don't even know. Like it's not like they could sign him to a two-way, right? Because all their two-ways are filled.
Well, we have one technically open, but Watson's probably gonna get it.
Right.
But
So-
yeah.
Because so what? They just like he could they sign him as like a G League free agent?
Yeah,
How does that
so
even?
if you give a guy an Exhibit 10 and they sign with your G League team, they get a bonus.
Okay.
So it like keeps them in the system. So he get an Exhibit 10 for sure.
Okay.
But,
Because I don't know. I just want to see. There are
It's good
guys that
vibes.
like will just for the vibe and because I think he can. I think he can shoot. I think he can
something-
play.
Yeah, like if you can score, like that's an NBA skill.
Right.
You know what I mean? And then like
Yeah.
you can build the rest of it like on top of it. Like, okay, you know how to score, you can get by somebody, you can make a shot. All right, we can
And it's
try and
just-
teach you how to play defense.
And it's just crazy because I remember when Eddie House like had him when he was a baby in 2008.
Oh yeah, yeah.
And
He's
it's like, all right,
ball boying.
yeah.
for the
So it's
team.
like,
Yeah,
all right, now
yeah.
let's see. It's like Al Horford's kid's probably going to be,
Yeah.
a second round pick for this team at some point.
Yeah.
I remember
you know?
Scal on a pod was like, "Yo, here's Al's kid. Like,
He can play.
he can play."
Yeah.
Well, yeah, dude, he's got Al Horford
Yeah, right,
genes
yeah,
in
yeah.
him.
Yeah,
like,
right. Yeah.
But it wouldn't surprise me if he's a Hall of Famer.
Yeah,
You know
He's
what
got
I'm saying?
perfect genes.
Yeah,
Yeah,
dude.
Yeah. They really fucking do, man. He's got
Levi's.
incredible skill.
To be honest, that was my
Skill.
favorite. That was
And
my
skill.
favorite part of the All In series was seeing little, Al Horford at Fenway
Yeah,
when he
yeah,
first got here, and
yeah.
now it's like
So good.
8 years later. It's like
Yeah.
he's on the bench. It's like, hey, he's like 6'5" already. That's ridiculous. But yeah, I don't know. I just think, now that they've lost, it's going to be hard for them to now win the Summer League title because you basically have to be undefeated. Let's see what some nepotism can do and get Eddie House.
let's get him out
with
there.
you.
If Bronny can do it, Eddie House's kid can do it.
Oh my man, that was
Bronny, boy, that was bad, dude.
Good
It was
watch.
painful.
yeah, man. Like, it was Bronny worse than Jordan Walsh? I think so.
Yeah, it's pretty close.
Bronny-
I mean, they got the same deal. They got the same
Yeah.
second exemption.
And-
I mean,
Yeah.
a little bit more guarantee for Bronny, but
Yeah.
of course.
you have to remember these are project picks. Projects aren't always gonna ascend.
Yeah, if
so-
the
so
projects
Jack- yeah.
always hit, like they wouldn't be a project.
Exactly.
You know what I mean?
Jack Simone today talking about Queta was like, "Hey, he's a project," and I'm like, "I think the project should be pretty close to done."
Yeah, he's like 25.
He's like 25, 26. And I was like, was he a guy that like started playing basketball late in his life? And he was like,
I think so.
And,
Yeah, he was.
Well, we googled 10 years old.
Yeah.
He's had like 15 years.
It's not that. It's not that late.
Yeah.
It's like it's later than me.
yeah.
It worked for me.
Yeah.
I'm more optimistic on him because we saw it at the NBA level in
He's
flashes.
had some solid games
In
at the
flashes.
NBA level for sure.
To
yeah.
be a fourth big, I feel like he has
Solid-ish.
shown.
I do think that we like the over-indexing on the 3 games that he played against like the Clippers and the Kings.
They matter to me, okay?
Well, they
Yeah,
do.
yeah.
They
They
do.
mean
Yeah.
something to me, all right?
yeah.
Because like the net, like you can like still like cite his like on-off numbers and net rating because of how the Celtics dominated. Like,
Right. Well, it's kind of like the Sam Hauser
they
leads
were-
the whole world in plus minus.
Well, 'cause he's
Well,
also-
because he
Right,
plays
yeah,
with
yeah.
Justin Tatum and
Yeah,
everybody.
yeah.
You know,
Exactly.
it's
Against
like
benches.
Yeah.
And it's the exact same thing as the Celtics cruised through those games, and it's like, yeah, Queta also is his net rating is mate. And so
the only Celtics whose plus minus and net rating I put any weighting to is Derek White
I
because
was
it's just
literally-
always good no matter the lineup.
Yeah, yeah.
When it's Tatum in the whites, of course all
Yeah.
those guys are gonna have a.
do we not feel like I'm like so out on plus minus and all of that in general, just because.
I'm only out on
Tatum's-
plus minus when it doesn't fit the
Careful.
narrative. When it doesn't fit the narrative I want to push, then I'm out on
the
plus
Celtics
minus.
team is just so good, where it's like, and like it can vary so much from like player to player. I'm just like,
I'm telling you, use it when
It's
it
almost like
suits
it's
your
telling
agenda,
us
of course,
something.
and ignore it when it goes against
like
your agenda.
in a secret moment when no one's listening to me right now, I would be like, look, I just don't think it really matters. Like like Jokic is like the god of on off, but he also doesn't play with any. He plays with all the starters.
Right.
Yeah.
So like, yeah.
It's like, yeah, no kidding.
Of
The
course,
team
yeah,
is
yeah.
awful when you're
Yeah.
off the floor.
So,
Yeah.
because so there's a little bit of that. Whereas Tatum actually plays with the bad players.
Right.
Yeah. But he's also playing against the other team's bad
So
players.
yeah, that's what I'm saying.
Context matters.
I
It
think it's
absolutely
all
matters.
dumb. We have eyeballs.
It's-
Are they good or are they bad?
It's Jake, you're killing
It
me,
shouldn't
bro.
be an end all be all.
Are they good or are they bad?
It shouldn't be an end all be all again, unless it suits your agenda, and then
Yes,
you
exactly.
use it to strengthen your
yeah,
argument.
Exactly.
You know, it's like these summer league games. If you're bad, I'm going to ignore every single thing you did.
Summer League, baby.
But if you're good, I'm pretty sure you're going into Springfield when it's all said. and
Yeah.
done.
Yeah,
that's
Jordan,
just
Jordan
that's
Walsh,
part of the
yeah.
He
fun.
just didn't make some shots. That's all
Right.
Jordan Walsh
Make
did.
him miss league. That's
Yeah,
all.
yeah.
Make
Jordan
him miss
Walsh,
league.
yeah, Jordan Walsh being bad in one game hasn't freaked me out at all.
I'll tell
Yeah,
you this:
no,
he
no.
got screwed on that loose ball foul. That was
Yeah,
gonna,
yeah,
that was
yeah.
gonna be
And
a,
that
Yeah,
turned
when
the
he
game.
that
tipped
could
it.
have
whole
been his
game.
breakaway dunk that
Yeah.
that flipped it, and
Yeah.
you know,
All he needed was one little moment and couldn't get it.
just got to see the ball go in.
The fucking zebras.
Did
dude.
not go in for him today.
Lot,
but-
a lot of not in. A lot of orange ball.
How
not
about
in.
this? How about this? He'll be better when they play in Thomas and Mack because that's a real arena. He just needs the real environment.
Yeah. He needs
Once,
the
once,
NBA
once I leave
environment.
the country, he'll be good.
Exactly. You just made him nervous. You made him nervous. He heard you were coming. You just,
Nah,
you
I
know.
can't handle the Eisenberg. He's
Yeah.
Too much Australian hand building, baby. But all right, boys,
Yeah.
we should probably wrap it up there
Okay.
because we're pushing an hour,
Yeah,
which
classic.
seems crazy. But
Time here makes
Ben,
no
Yeah,
sense.
yeah.
Ben texted me about 10 minutes ago. It's been 40 minutes.
Okay,
so
nice.
we should probably wrap it up on that. We got Greeny. We got Jake.
I do need to
we
pee,
got
so
me.
I'm very happy.
Jake's got to pee.
Yeah.
Probably something else in that bathroom
yeah,
again
right.
in Ben's room. All right, we are out. First to the floor. See ya.
There we go.